I cheated, but at what point do I deserve happiness? I'll try to keep this as brief and to the point as possible. I'll preface all of this by saying I am a reformed cheating asshole. I know that I fucked up. Let's start with the backstory. I met my wife in HS. We dated for 3 years, but broke it off in the middle of senior year. We stayed broken up for a little over a year. During that year I dated a little, fooled around a little, hooked up with a couple girls but mostly hung out with friends. Nothing serious. We got back together and everything was great. At 21 we had our first child and got married. My daughter changed my life. I went from nerdy video game slacker to highly ambitious IT professional overnight. I found a great job, got promoted quickly and started to travel for work. At 24 we had our second child. Prior to kids our sex life was pretty great, anywhere from 2 to 5 times a week. But after the second one it was maybe once every other month, usually less. I met someone that worked at one of the locations I traveled to. Similar situation, young, married with kids, no sex. It started innocent, as it always does, but eventually we decided we loved our spouses but still needed sex. And rather than run the risk of getting emotionally involved, we would just have sex when I was in town. When I wasn't in town, we'd talk like friends, coworkers and flirt lightly, but that's it. But a relationship like this allowed us both to open up to some sexual kinks we'd never shared with our spouses and the kind of stuff I didn't get to do when I was single for a year. We did this for about a year and a half, which ended up being about 6 visits. We both decided that while it was nice to have kinky no-strings sex, we should really refocus our energy on trying to fix our sexless marriages. And I did. I completely put all my energy into rekindling the fire of passion in my marriage. It didn't really work, but everything outside of the bedroom is perfect, so I decided that I was okay with very little sex because she is an amazing woman and I don't want to break up a great family just because I'm not getting sex. I also made a vow to stay faithful, which I did. Then about 2 years ago my wife found a video on the laptop of me and my secret sex buddy. I came clean about everything, admitted I was wrong and vowed to prove that I'm worth trusting. She had some requirements that I accepted without question. I stopped hanging out with friends, stopped playing any and all video games, no longer chatted on MSN with friends, very limited time on the internet, switched jobs, helped out more around the house, let her have full access to my email, etc. Basically I decided that I would cut out everything that could be a distraction from rebuilding trust. It's 2 years later and I'm confused. I've been faithful for more than 3 years now and done everything asked of me and more. I've made such major changes in my life and who I am to prove that I can be trusted. But it's made very little difference. Still almost no sex, and she is very mistrusting still. She can have a Facebook but I can't. She can go out with friends occasionally but I can't. I can play a video game but only if it has no online chat component. We did counseling for about 6 months, and the therapist did say she saw improvements and that I was making a serious effort to prove my trustworthiness and unlikely to cheat again. My wife didn't like sharing details of our life and felt it wasn't helping. Recent a girl I knew in HS contacted me and made it very clear she'd be interested in a sex-only relationship. I told her no, but it made me start to wonder how much punishment should I endure. I feel that I've tried as hard as I can, and I want it to get better. But I refuse to spend the next 70 years apologizing and walking around with my tail between my legs. But I also don't want to be a weekend-only dad, that would kill me. And I still very much love my wife. I just don't know what to do. Edit. Thanks to everyone commenting. I really do appreciate it and I am reading all of them. I also updated this a bit to mention we did try counseling. Updates. I cheated, but at what point do I deserve happiness? First let me say thank you to everyone who commented. I read all of them and they helped me more than I can ever say. Thank you, Reddit. What a difference a week makes. I came to Reddit a mere 5 days ago, and the life I had last week is nearly unrecognizable from the one I have today. Wall of text ahead. After reading all the comments last week, I decided I'm not a prisoner and things had to change. I made plans to go out with friends I hadn't seen in over a year on Friday night. On Thursday night I sat down with my wife to try to reopen communication. Let her know that I have needs and wants that aren't being met, and that if we are going to make this work then some changes have to happen. She is my partner, not my warden. She took it pretty well, and seemed to understand where I was coming from and recognized the huge amount of work I've put into myself in this relationship. It felt like a fairly major breakthrough. We even discussed picking a new therapist and giving that another try. But there was something nagging me the whole time. A Redditor said to me that he went through something similar, but eventually found out his wife was also cheating. Which explained the Alcatraz-style lockdown on his life. I don't know why, but I couldn't shake this thought. I know my wife wouldn't cheat, but she's also a reasonable person, so why the hell have I been on house arrest for 2 years? After a couple days, the thought got the better of me and I put a keylogger on our laptop. I did this Thursday afternoon. Friday comes and I am excited to see my buddies. We talked a little before I left. She was apprehensive but understood this is necessary to rebuild lasting trust in our relationship. And like Reddit suggested, I hardly had anything to drink, answered TXTs and phone class in a timely fashion and got home 20 minutes before I said I would as a show of good faith. My wife is in bed already but sleepily asks how the night went and I said it was great. Saturday morning we discuss it at length. She seems genuinely happy and understanding, and I am beaming ear to ear. Not only did I get to see the buddies, but it appears that I'm making headway in my relationship. Win-win. And while I'm on this euphoric high, I decide that trust is not made with a keylogger. It was dumb to install it, and will only create paranoia in me. I should also mention that while she has full access to my email, I have the same access to her email and Facebook. So really it seemed that a keylogger was overkill. I go to uninstall it. Of course curiosity gets the best of me and I check the very limited 2.5 days worth of logs. Nothing jumps out at me: Amazon, Facebook, YouTube, Gmail, etc. I get to the end of the log and it's looking good. Until I see another trip to Gmail, this time for an account I have never seen before. I remain calm. I keep an old Hotmail account for spam, sign-up crap. I've advised her to do the same and only let friends know her real email. Either way, I log into the new account. No spam, no nothing, it's empty. Just a bunch of empty folders. Until I hit the tax information folder. Now this folder is full. Full as in hundreds of emails. However, none of it is tax related. All of it is to or from Steve. I have a 65-yo step-uncle named Steve, but this is not him. I don't know who this Steve is. These emails are graphic. Lots of what he likes to do to her and what she likes to do to him. Lots of "last weekend was amazing" type stuff. So after reading maybe 30 of these, I decide I need to stop reading them. I made a new Gmail account, and forwarded all of them to this account. Then I went back and deleted my tracks. I'm somewhat calm during all this. It sucks, but I cheated, so I am now experiencing what she did when she found out about me. While forwarding them, I pay closer attention to the dates. This affair has been going on for a very long time. All the way back to roughly a year before my son was born. Or 1.5 years before I cheated. That hits me like a ton of bricks. What if my son isn't mine? What if my 1-year-old baby girl isn't mine? I fucking lose it. I verify my tracks are covered and bolt out of the house saying I'm going to the gym. I sit in my car for 2 hours crying at the thought they might not be mine, and how do I ever move forward? I have no idea how to confront her. I head home and find her best friend is there. They have decided they want to go a movie. I am still in shock, so I just nod. I need time to process anyways. So I put the kids to bed and try to figure out how I'm going to talk to her about this. I decide to check her secret Gmail again. She emailed him 4 hours earlier. She told him she'd have an hour after the movie to meet up. Check the time, the movie is done or close to it. I start calling her cell, repeatedly. No answer. I call about 10 times, no answer. It's 1 a.m. and I'm sitting on the couch and she walks in. Surprised to see me up, asks if I am feeling okay. I stood up right in front of her and said I'm fine. And ask her, why didn't you pick up the phone? She says it was a movie, can't talk in a movie. And then she forgot to check it when she headed to the bar for one drink. She makes her way to the stairs and I say, how is Steve doing? Her face goes white. Your Uncle Steve. She says, no, the Steve you just got done fucking 20 minutes ago. How is he? I say. She says nothing. I tell her I found the Gmail account. I saw her email planning to meet him after the movie tonight. With what little composure I had left, I asked, why didn't you come clean when you found about me cheating? We could have fixed this together. She starts bawling and runs upstairs. I follow. What ensues is the worst 4 hours of my life. She comes clean that she met him back when she was working, he was a temp. I again asked why not come clean 2 years ago so we could both work on this. She says she was too hurt by what I did and too ashamed to come clean. She said she told Steve she needed it to end and wanted to work on our marriage. And she says she did, but about 8 months later ended up hooking up again and it started all over. I asked why the prison rules. She says it's because she loves me and didn't want me to leave. I explained that, while not right, I cheated because we didn't have sex. But obviously she was having sex elsewhere, so she didn't need it at home. So I asked why she cheated, because I know prior to Steve, we had sex 2 to 3 times a week, and she came 1 to 2 times each time. She says he was relentless in pursuing her, which made her feel sexy, and that the relationship was taboo, which added a thrill. Do you love him? To which she says no, but like the thrill and the taboo. I could go on and on. I asked a million questions. Eventually I asked the big question, are the 2 youngest kids mine? She assures me they are. I asked how can she be so sure, to which her response is she just knows. Despite what she says, she has no way, without a blood test, to assure me they are mine. I am crushed on so many levels. I stand up, and head for the door. She stops me and begs me to forgive her and that we will work this out. I can impose harsh rules if I want, and watch her every move, and she will do anything to fix this. I calmly tell her I have no interest in being a warden, and that I need to go for a walk. I walk for an hour and come home and crash on the couch. Sunday was beyond awkward. I said very little to her. I studied my 2 youngest, trying to find my traits in them. Every time I think I'd see something, I'd be struck by the fact that I don't know what Steve looks like. Perhaps he has big ears too, and that's where my son gets them. We talked briefly Sunday night. Despite wanting to ask more and understand more, my soul just wasn't in it. So we went to bed separately and I laid awake to the sound of her crying upstairs. It felt good to get that out. I am not sure what to do from here. Part of me thinks that neither of us will likely ever trust the other. But the other part thinks that she could have left 2 years ago to either be alone or be with Steve. She gave me another chance, and I am a better person for having that chance. Wouldn't it be hypocritical of me to end this because of infidelity? Doesn't she deserve a chance to prove herself, and improve herself like I have? Update. I got home from work and she had the kids at her parents' for a sleepover. She kept trying to get me to say what I thought or felt, and I kept pretty quiet. I told her I didn't know what I thought or felt yet. I know I need to talk to her, but all I feel like doing is laying on the couch with some beer and watching Futurama till I pass out. She did eventually get me to talk. I basically said that I don't know what to do, but I think at the very least we need some separation and therapy if we are going to attempt to fix this. She was unhappy about the separation part, but I put my foot down. I've lived trapped in my house for 2 years. Perhaps I am not the person she loves but instead loves the idea of us. She saw my point and said she did love me but understood that some time apart might help. 6-month update. I cheated, but at what point do I deserve happiness? Hello Ra, it's been a few months. I'd just like to say right away that you all helped so much. Wall of text, as always. Well, it's 6 months after I found out my wife had been cheating and a lot has changed. After finding out, the first thing I did was get the kids' DNA tested. Then I spent the next 2 weeks sleeping on the couch and having endless conversations with my wife. The more we talked, the more I felt like the world's biggest chump. I had poured my soul into fixing the relationship and was racked with guilt while she was out fucking some guy. But I also couldn't see myself just walking away. She'd been in my life since we were 15, we are 29. So I agreed to start therapy immediately and see how I felt after talking to someone else. To say the therapist was a bit shocked by our story is a bit of an understatement. This lady was pretty blunt in saying that nearly all of our problems stem from my wife's actions and she needed counseling just for her, in addition to the couples session. While we were in therapy, I moved out and crashed with my best friend but demanded the house on the weekend so I could be with the kids. My other conditions were that she cut off all contact with Steve, and that we talk openly about everything. Any lies, even white lies, and I would be done. I also wanted full control of the bill's budget. She complied. I never divulged that it was a keylogger that helped me find out what was going on. She just assumed that she had stayed logged into her secret Gmail account and I didn't correct her. Asshole move, but I figured that since I'd been lied to for 3+ years I had the right to do a bit of spying. This puts us At roughly 4 weeks after I found out, and finally the results from the kids' DNA tests come back. All mine. That was such a relief that I can't even describe it. It almost felt like I didn't care what happened with my wife anymore because I knew my kids were mine and I'd always have them. And one thought stuck in my mind the whole time was, I can accept that people make mistakes, but if she loved me she had the chance to come clean about her mistake when she caught me. Instead she put me on lockdown for years. Who does that to someone they love? I just could stop thinking about that. Therapy was going well, but I was becoming jealous and angry. Always upset. I was away from home all week and then on the weekend I'd tear apart the laptop trying to find out what she'd been doing in my absence. She was checking her secret email and Steve was continuing to email her, but she never responded. That was the breaking point. She hadn't shut down the email like I had asked, and while she wasn't responding she was checking the emails. Almost like she was keeping her safety net around so she could go back if things didn't work out. Or maybe not, I don't know. But I didn't want to be an angry and jealous all the time. I didn't want to be a warden. The next day I confronted her and told her I couldn't forgive what she had done. I told her I could probably move past the cheating, but the way I was treated was terrible. I explained how I had pushed friends out of my life and shut myself off from the world to work on us, only to find out I was being kept prisoner so she could keep fucking her boy toy. She broke down crying, saying she'd do anything to salvage the relationship, but it fell on deaf ears. That Monday I contacted an attorney. Fast forward 4.5 months and I have my own place. Divorce is nearly final and I'm finally starting to feel like me again. We are going for 50-50 custody. I've been reconnecting with friends and trying to find new hobbies for when I don't have the kids. I've been on 2 dates because a couple friends wanted to double date, thinking it would help me. It was nice to meet new girls, but I'm just nowhere near ready to trust anyone. Part of me thinks I'll just put off dating until the kids are out of HS. The kids are sad that we aren't together, but we keep all of this away from them. No arguing in front of them and no bashing the other when they aren't around. But either way I think I'm on the road to recovery. And feel free to ask anything, because you guys helped more than I could ever say.